So the other day, I'm walking home from work and I walk past CEX and it's quite empty, and I think to myself, I can't remember the last time I went in CEX, so let's have a little look around and see what's changed. So this isn't going to be like a full extensive tour video like I normally do, but I walked in and I thought I'd have a little look to see if they've moved things around, if there's any games I fancy picking up, and they have moved things around. So the Xbox One and Series X games are now here along these like 5 or 6 bays, and there just aren't enough games to fill the space that they've put them in, so I fully expect them to move this again very soon. You can see on the bottom 2 shelves there, Battlefield 1 is just spread. So Turtles Mutants Unleashed, which is a game that was on my radar until I watched, well, this gameplay really. The guy who's controlling this is struggling, and then Leonardo's just stood on top of nothing, so a bit of a glitch going on. And the more I watched of gameplay of this, the more I just didn't really, I don't know, it's not a game that I want to play anymore. It was before I looked at gameplay, but the camera looks like it would be very frustrating. Like, he can't control where he's going, and you might be thinking, well, maybe he's a bit special. But I just think it's one of those games where the camera doesn't track the character particularly very well, and the gameplay looked a little bit buggy, and from some reviews I've seen, people are saying it's just not a good game, it's quite boring. Let me know if you've played it in the comments and whether you think I should pick it up. A Quiet Place has a video game. I was not aware of it, I don't think. I'm not like a huge fan of The Quiet Place in terms of the film, especially the most recent one. I thought the most recent one was very lackluster. No, I don't recommend anyone watch it, to be fair, but the game could be good. The 3 bays of Destiny, which just shows you that Xbox One and Series X games are absolutely in the... Let me look at the state of that. Absolutely do not belong across these 5 or 6 bays. There's just not enough games in stock to warrant having this much real estate. I mean, look at that. It's just bare, barren, and it's the same game repeated. And I'm looking through to see if I can see anything that jumps out at me, any special editions, or just in general any games that I would fancy playing that I haven't already got. Of course, Sleeping Dogs was the last game that I picked up. LA Noire is a game I've actually been thinking about going back through recently. I love the idea behind LA Noire. I'm actually very surprised there's not been any rumblings of an LA Noire 2, because it was a very, very good game, maybe even ahead of its time. So the technology that they have now, who knows? Sonic Colors, when it came out, right, I thought this game was going to be a game that I would pick up, play a lot, and really enjoy. I like Sonic as much as the next guy. You know, the Sonic 1, Sonic 2, even Sonic 3, and so on. Really, really good games. And then when they moved into like 3D, which I think they actually did on the Mega Drive, but I sort of lost interest. I love the 2D platformer idea. I don't like when Sonic goes through 3D worlds and things, and it kind of put me off. If you played Sonic Colors, let me know in the comments. I thought I'd have a little look through the PlayStation section, despite the fact that I no longer own a system that I'm able to play any of these games on. But now that money is no longer as tight as it used to be, I mean, it's still not amazing, don't get me wrong, but now that I have a job to sort of, you know, pay for bills and things, I might actually dabble back into PlayStation at some point. Although, of course, they have announced Switch 2 finally, and there's a trailer for it. It's some people saying it's underwhelming. I'll talk about that in another video, because I do have some plans for that. But I was looking at this, FC 2524 on the PS4. They're both still very expensive. FC 25, you can sort of understand why. I mean, the game's been out a few months now, maybe 4 or 5, but FC 24 has been out a year and 5 months at this point, and it's still 30 odd quid in CEX on the PS4. Just an absolute crazy price tag. And again, they don't really have much stock here to warrant the bays that they've put this on. And I'm not sure whether it's just after Christmas, they've not had people trading stuff in, and at some point it will pick up again. But look, they've got 2 bays of Red Dead there, and quite a few copies of Star Wars on the bottom. Few empty spaces, and as you move on to the final section of PS4, loads of empty spaces, loads of room, and it's because they don't have the stock to fill. I think they should just bring video games down from upstairs, because they have all the retro up there. This is Session, right? This is a game that's been out a long time at this point, but it was a game that when it came out I thought I might give it a go, because I've always been, I can't actually skateboard, I can't really stand up on one, but I used to love Tony Hawk games, and then when Skate came out, it was a little bit more complicated, but still a really enjoyable game. I'm still more of a Tony Hawk fan. But then when Session came out, it was meant to be this sort of ragdoll physics, I suppose, but like realistic-ish sort of skateboarding game where you could actually pull off realistic moves. And some people say it's too complicated, other people swear by it. If you've played Session, let me know if you think it's a good game. Just a quick thank you to my channel members. Thank you for supporting me. Of course, you do get early access to these videos, as well as the odd exclusive every now and again. So thank you once more to my channel members. If you'd like to become one, there is a link in the description. And now back to CEX. We have an Epic Mickey game there, which, if you didn't know, I am a fairly big Disney fan. I tend to go to a Disney park, well, as often as I can, really, once a year at best, really. I would love to go more than that, but financially not viable. Oh look, Elden Ring everywhere. Yeah, if you've played Epic Mickey, let me know what you think of that. I mean, I don't really see the point in buying the remake if the original is, just as good, but hey, it might be worth picking up, I don't know. Nothing stands out here other than loads of copies of the same game. It's just a running theme at the moment. It must be something to do with the fact that Christmas just absolutely destroyed them and they've not had the stock back in. I've never seen this game before, despite the fact that it's been out for a good few years at this point. This is Planet Zoo. Now, I am a massive theme park fan, like the original theme park. And I tried to play Planet Coaster, and I have put, 50, 60 hours into it, which is nothing at all, really, for that type of game. And I could not, for the life of me, get into it. Now, when the original Xbox One came out, I played Zoo Tycoon, which was kind of enjoyable for the most part, but this is just so much more. It's so much more in depth that you can do so much more with it. However, if you've played it, let me know if you think it's worth buying on a console, because these type of games are always better on PC. Football Manager, Tycoon games in general, they're always better on the PC. But I do a lot of my gaming now on an Xbox downstairs. My PC's upstairs, and it's not really like a place I kind of want to be, really, if I'm honest. Just comfier and cozier downstairs, I suppose. So if you think I could get on with it on a console, let me know whether you think it's worth picking up. Reprinted covers are something that we've spoke about a lot on this channel in the past. I've kind of made my peace with it now. It's quite obvious what a reprinted cover actually says. The thing that I didn't like, of course, was when they had reprinted covers that they didn't tell you that they were reprinted. But the quality on these reprinted covers now, they just don't even try anymore. I'll pick up another one in a second. Look at the state of that. That's FIFA 17. They look like Dave down the street has just printed that off on his printer. It's absolutely horrendous. I know I complain about it, and I think that reprinted covers should actually be cheaper than a standard copy of the game. I still stand by that. But at least put some effort into reprinting the cover, Change the ink or something. Use different paper. I don't know what it needs to be done, but the quality of that is just shocking. I was kind of hoping to find, you've guessed it, some promo games here, because it's been that long since I've popped in. I thought there's bound to be one or two knocking about. Absolutely none. There are a few games I don't own that I would quite like to pick up here. So Singularity, if you don't know anything about this game, this is a pretty underrated game. You won't really find many people talking about this. And when you first look at it, you think it's just a generic first-person shooter, but it is so much more than that. You have time manipulation and time travel elements to it. And you dip back and forth between the present time, which would be like 2010, and you go back to like the 1950s. And there's 3 possible endings that you can take, and of course there's replayability there, so you can go back and choose a different ending to see how it goes. But it's just a really solid game. The graphics are decent, they're not amazing by any stretch. I mean, this, in my opinion, is one of those games that if you were going to remaster something, this is a game that you would remaster. It would sell in its droves. It is such a good game, and for £8, I was tempted, but I might wait until I get a little bit of credit or something. But yeah, one of those games I don't own that I absolutely should. I did play it when it first came out, and it was like nothing that was out at the time, and I really enjoyed it. But you don't find many people who have even played it, let alone say good things about it. But yeah, if you've played it, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you haven't played it, why haven't you played it? A couple of other games here that I would not mind picking up. I don't know anything about this. I'm not going to show you anything of it, but it's a cheapie, and I wouldn't mind picking it up just to give it a quick bash. But it's not something that's immediately on my radar. There's a Worms collection game there. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind picking up that snooker game on the end there. I think it's from 2007. It might be 2008. I think it's 2007. I think the red cover is 2008. Don't ask me why I know that. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I'm actually kind of into that at the moment for some reason. This is from the special edition of Street Fighter 4. I remember selling this back in the day, and we had loads of them in when I worked for GameStation, and nobody bought them. I say nobody, that's a lie, of course. Some people bought them. not many people bought them. We had loads left over. And I remember they went down to about 25 quid in a sale not that long after it came out. And for some reason, I was the master, right, of buying special editions that I knew nothing about. I would buy anything and everything. But for some reason, I didn't buy this, and I have no idea why. Now, don't get me wrong, had I bought it, there's no way I'd still own it, and I don't think this is even expensive today, to be fair. I think you can pick this up fairly cheap, correct me if I'm wrong, but just to point out that that game was from the special edition, because the standard edition, if I think I'm right in saying this, it had a different cover to it. I don't know why there was any point in me telling you that, but when I picked it up, I thought, I don't want to buy it because this is from the special edition. But there we are. Anyway, Switch 2 was announced, of course, and I will talk about that in another video because, like I said, and I have been saying for the longest time, I absolutely love the Switch. So my one complaint with the original Switch was just the performance of it. It handles first-party titles very well. Of course, they're built for it. They're not on anything else. You wouldn't expect anything different. But when it comes to playing games like Surviving the Aftermath, Civilization, and if you were for some reason wanted to play wrestling on it, say the Switch was your only console and you wanted to play a wrestling game, it has one wrestling game, I think. Maybe it has AEW as well, but they just do not run well at all. You get more than 2 fighters on screen, you're looking at about 8 FPS. It is absolutely atrocious. However, the Switch 2 looks to improve it, and I was really hoping that this would be a feature, and it absolutely is. So it's backwards compatible with the original Switch games, which means, yes, I am now going to start thinking about picking up some Switch games so that I can play the ones that I gave up on the Switch because of the performance, and it really put me off. The Switch 2 looks fantastic. It's bigger, which suits me because I have bigger hands, so it would fit better in my hands, and I just like a bigger screen in general. Of course, yes, you can dock it, blah blah blah, but I got rid of nearly anything and everything that I had of the Switch. I got rid of my Switch. I got rid of all the games for my Switch. I used the money to pay bills, to go on holiday a couple of years ago, and then I said that when we get Switch 2 news, I would look into buying that Switch 2 and then look into building a library of Switch games again, because despite the fact that I don't own one anymore and I don't have any of the games, it is still by far one of my favourite consoles. It is top 5 for me of all time. It is up there. The innovation that it had, the way that it looks, plays, the whole thing. I love the whole idea of it. And I love the games as well. The fact that they are still physical cartridges, the fact that you still get cases, a lot of them have special editions and you get super rare games. I love all of that. And now I'm back in. I don't own anything yet. I've not made any moves. We don't know enough about the Switch 2 for me to be, pre-ordering or anything because it's not out yet, right? But when it comes to the games, I think I'm going to start diving back into picking up a few games ready for when the Switch 2 comes out. And of course, we need to build towards a Switch 2, so we're definitely going to have to do that in some way or another. I don't think I can build towards it in credit though, because of course I'm going to be waiting for someone to trade one in, and then CEX are going to inflate the price. I'm going to pay over market value for a second-hand Switch 2. I'm not doing that, so I'm going to have to try and raise the funds somehow, either selling off parts of the collection, or of course I could just start sort of buying and selling my way to a Switch. Don't know how much it's going to be yet. If you've got any idea or what you think might be the price of the Switch 2, drop it in the comments. It'd be interesting to see your price valuations versus what Nintendo actually comes out with. I'm really hoping it's going to be less than 400, but let's be honest, in this day and age, you can't even buy toilet roll for less than 400, so I think I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. But that was a quick look around CEX, quick talk about a few games, and of course a little bit of a plan going forward with the Switch 2. If you've enjoyed it, do me a favour and hit the like button. It really does help me out a lot. If you want to check out another video from me, you can click here. And until the next time, goodbye.